check number five, 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 five. Mic number five. Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. Hey, hey. Check mic number five. Hi. Excuse me. Check, check. Mic number six. Hey, hey. Mic number six. 1, 2, 2, 2. Hey, hey. Sure thing.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Arts Center. How are you? Good. Duke Ellington said once that the secret to happiness is being in the right place at the right time with the right people doing the right thing. So I think based on that criteria, you all made the right decision. So I know you're going to have a good time. My name is John Schreiber. I'm the president of the Arts Center, and this is, as you know, the 9th annual New Jersey Poetry Out Loud State Finals, and it's part of a national recitation program, and all of the readers are back there, and they can't wait to get out and see you. I want to extend a special welcome to the members of the New Jersey State Arts Council, to the family and friends who traveled here today to support the 10 finalists. NJPAC is really proud to host these finals. If it's the first time you visited here at the Arts Center, this is our 500-seat Victoria Theater. We have a 2,800-seat Prudential Hall right across the hall. We have a 250-seat theater. We have a Center for Arts Education that has a black box. So we got a lot of spaces and we got a lot of performances. So if you're not aware of what we're up to, go to njpac.org and do come back and visit us again. One of the things I'm proudest of is that on October 23rd through the 26th, we're going to be hosting the 15th Biennial Dodge Poetry Festival. That is the country's largest poetry festival. Friday, October 24th, is High School Student Day here, where students and teachers attend the festival free of charge. Please go to the Dodge Poetry Festival website for more information and find out how you can do that. And I think with us today is the artistic director, the curator, the head honcho, there he is, of the Dodge Poetry Festival, who is also a great poet. So please join me in welcoming Martin Farwell. We're happy to have you. So have a ball, enjoy yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chair of the New Jersey State Arts Council, a great friend of the arts. Did you know that New Jersey has about the most effective and well-funded arts council in the country? I bet you didn't know that. New Jersey is a very, very arts-rich state, and this is a woman who helps make all that happen. Please welcome our friend Liz Metzen.
Good morning, and thank you, John. We're very pleased, pardon me, very pleased to be here this morning on the stage of the prestigious New Jersey Performing Arts Center. It has been said many times that NJPAC is a catalyst for economic growth and change in Newark. It is an anchor for this city and a source of great pride for our state. Nobody does world-class performing arts quite like you do. I've personally spent many a great evening here, but it doesn't stop there. True to its founder's vision, NJPAC is also a provider of innovative education and family programs that engage community members of all ages, all year long. On behalf of the New Jersey State Council on the Arts, I'd like to thank John, his staff, and the board of NJPAC for expanding your roster of programs to include Poetry Out Loud. We're happy to welcome you aboard as first-time Poetry Out Loud partner this year, and we look forward to a continued collaboration. Poetry Out Loud is a national competition happening in every state across our country. It is a program that grew from the inspired ideas of the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation 9 years ago, and it has just exploded. Nationwide, hundreds of thousands of high school students are finding their own voices in works of great poetry. As we'll see today, magic is happening. The numbers tell the story of how valued and popular this program has become. Nationally, nearly 365,000 students, 8,800 teachers at 22,200 schools participated in Poetry Out Loud. And here in New Jersey, we're breaking all records. 28,618 New Jersey students participated in Poetry Out Loud this year, placing us second in the country for student participation. We're also second for school participation, and we are first in the nation for teacher participation. And we are a very small state, comparatively speaking. This morning's competition is the culminating event for a contest that began last fall. A lot of work has already been put in by students, teachers, and staff all over the state. The competition started at the classroom level, then the school level, then the winners from each school competed in 5 regional contests to determine the 10 winners, 2 from each region, who would move on to today's competition. The competition for statewide has been tough and impressive, to say the least, but it's not over yet. The winner of today's competition will go on to represent New Jersey at the national finals next month in Washington, D.C. At this time, I would like to take a moment to recognize some special guests we have with us today. Mary Rose Flanagan of the National Endowment for the Arts is here. Thank you, Mary Rose, for making the trip from D.C. to... We welcome you to New Jersey and to your first New Jersey Poetry Out Loud, Jersey style. Assistant Secretary of State Carol Kronheim is here this morning. Thank you, Carol, for joining us. We look forward to your remarks later in the program. Some of my fellow council members are here. First Vice Chair Jermaine Trabert. Second Vice Chair Kevin O'Brien. Joyce Gore. Carol Herbert. Lana Goldwalder. And our Arts Education Chair is Sharon Burton Turner. I don't know if Sharon is here, but she is devoted to Poetry Out Loud. Council Executive Director Nick Paleologos is here, along with 2 of his predecessors, former Council Directors David Miller and Steve Runk. Thank you for being here. We also have with us Michelle Russo and Martin Farrell from the Geraldine Darge Foundation. Welcome. The State Arts Council is proud to sponsor New Jersey's Poetry Out Loud program, which continues to grow and is considered a model among our colleagues across the nation. Those of us who've experienced this program before know it's not about those record-breaking numbers I mentioned a minute ago. These students are amazing, and the work they do through this program will stay with them throughout their lives. But now, in its 9th year, the New Jersey Poetry Out Loud program has become one of the most ambitious and collaborative programs that the Arts Council supports. Collaboration is the reason it has grown so impressively. I'd like to take a moment to thank our partners. This program is made possible through the generous funding of the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation. We also offer thanks to our growing list of statewide and regional partners, a list so long I would ask you to look in your program after the program to see the whole list. But it does include Playwrights Theater of New Jersey, Art Pride New Jersey Foundation, Cavan Carey Press, the Lewis Center for the Arts at Princeton University, and others. Thank you for all you have done to make today possible. I'd also like to offer special thanks to the Horizon Foundation for New Jersey. Thanks to Horizon's generous support of the state finals through the Art Pride New Jersey Foundation, we are able to be here in the beautiful Victoria Theater, a fitting backdrop for the excellence and talent we are about to witness. I would like to recognize a few people who have been instrumental in putting together today's New Jersey Poetry Out Loud program. Robin Middleman is Senior Program Officer for Arts Education at the State Arts Council, and our New Jersey Poetry Out Loud Coordinator, Tammy Herman. Together, they work to ensure the program is on track and of the highest quality all year long. Thank you, Robin and Tammy, and all other council staff who assisted in this year's Poetry Out Loud program. Poetry Out Loud is a shining example of what is possible when the arts are an integral part of education and our lives. Through this program, our students are challenged to get inside these great works of poetry, breathe life into the words, and make the ideas spring from the page. In the process, they develop skills, interpret feelings, resolve conflicts, and discover talents they might never known that they had. And what we see is transformation. I am very much looking forward to today's recitations, and I wish each of the finalists the best of luck. And now, it is my pleasure to turn the program over to a great performer in his own right and another force behind the scenes. John Piotrowski is the Artistic Director of Playwrights Theater. He is an accomplished actor, writer, director, and educator, and has played a key role in Poetry Out Loud from the very beginning. Please help me welcome your Poetry Out Loud MC for today, John Piotrowski.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? I want to, first of all, give a quick shout out to Josh Robinson and Jeremy Dyan, our musicians over there. They're going to kind of bridge us through the day as we go through this. I'm going to try to keep this rather quick because we've got a lot to do, and so I'm just going to start off and just let you know what's going to be happening today. We've got 10 finalists who will be coming out. They'll be doing 3 poems. We will be doing one poem at a time. In other words, everybody will do their first poem, then everybody will do their second poem, and everybody will do their third poem. Between those rounds, we'll have to take a little bit of a pause so that we can do some tabulations up there with the judges. And also, between the poems themselves, the individual readers that will be coming up themselves, there'll also be a slight pause just so that we make sure that all of the judges' scores are in. And speaking of judges, we have a lovely panel of judges today. I want to just sort of let you know who they are. Monica Yoon, who's a poet. Belindy Little is a poet as well. James Glossman, who is a director, writer, and the Associate Artistic Director of Playwrights Theater of New Jersey. Paula Corso, who is a poet also, and our accuracy judge is Danielle Constance. Yes. And one thing that I want to say to all of you, that there were 28,600 people high school students who went through this process. We're down to the final 10. And so who we're going to be listening to today is going to render probably some of the most beautiful and profound versions of these poems. And I really do invite you not just to sit here and cheer them on, but to also take that poetry in. If you are artists in your own right, let it inspire you. If you are just lovers of poetry, enjoy it. There's so much that's going to be coming across this stage to you this morning that I don't want you to miss it. And one way of missing it is having one of these ring. Turn them off. And I'll tell you what, the texting can wait. Don't text either, please. All right. I am now going to introduce to you all of the readers that are going to be coming up with us today. And just give me a second here because I need to get my pronunciation sheet. There we go. As I call you out, please come out, folks. Chiamaka Obidibo. Ashley Ungvarsky. Gareth Haynes. Matthew DeMarco. Lucy Wang. Natasha Vargas. David Anderson. Ankita Mohapatra. Christelle Marichua. And Noah Jarrett. Let's have a nice round of applause for all of them. Thank you, folks. Go get ready. And if you are not excited enough already, I would like to bring out my very good friend and poet, Lamont Dixon.
Wow. You're all here for poetry, huh? So I'm going to read a poem that I wrote last year as a dedication to all of the poets. And I read this at Rutgers Regionals last year, and I was asked to do it again today. And the poem is titled Shout-Outs. Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears. These skilled competitors, these budding bards, with these brave new voices, having been ceremoniously baptized in the ancient art of poetics, will enter this glorious and storied arena, representing the best that New Jersey has to offer. In other words, the best will bless the microphone. So I want to give shout outs to Shamika, Natasha, Ankita, and Noah. And there's some call and response. So when I say all hail, you need to say all hail. All hail. Hail to the poems they'll be reciting, such as Holy Sonnets, Solitude, Tables Turned, To Dover Beach, The Death of Allegory, and More Lies. Hail to Ways of Talking and One Art, because poets have a way of talking and turning it into art. In this battle arena of wordplay, sip these poems and be open to the emotions they convey. For these metal-plated contenders are about to set it off. All hail? All hail. Shout-outs to Mother Seton Regional and Northern Valley Regional. On Homedale and Morris City Tech. And in the mighty name of Doane, and in the mighty name of Dumont, all hail. All hail. Shout outs to Lawrence and Livingston. Starlit sonnets for Cinnaminson, and golden couplets for Columbia, all hail. All hail. We've got Vikings, Spartans, pirates, warriors, and golden knights, wielding razor-sharp battle axe poems, their emotions smeared onto their faces like Apache war paint. We've had Wolverines, whose Listerine rhymes punctures minds like 9-inch canines. Shout-outs to Lancers and Lions and Tigers and Cougars, oh my. We've even had Huskies and Lancers and Rams, and last year we had Roosters. All hail? All hail. Collectively, they are pugilistic poets. Before your very ears, they'll float like butterflies and sting like bees. They'll throw uppercut metaphors and left hook similes. They'll enter the ring armed with verses and stanzas forged from steel, armored in time-honored speech, to spit, to spar, to spiel. Ladies and gentlemen, I assure you that you will be wowed. So let's get it percolating for poetry out loud.
My name is Ashley Ungvarsky, and I will be reciting Cartoon Physics, Part 1 by Nick Flynn. Children under, say, 10 shouldn't know that the universe is ever expanding, inexorably pushing into the vacuum. Galaxies swallowed by galaxies, whole solar systems collapsing. All of it acted out in silence. At 10, we are still learning the rules of cartoon animation. That if a man draws a door on a rock, only he can pass through it. Anyone else who tries will crash into the rock. 10-year-olds should stick with burning houses, car wrecks, ships going down, earthbound, tangible disasters. Arenas where they can be heroes. You can run back into a burning house. Sinking ships have lifeboats. The trucks will come with their ladders. If you jump, you will be saved. A child places her hand on the roof of a school bus and drives across a city of sand. She knows the exact spot it will skid, at which point the bridge will give, who will swim to safety, and who will be pulled under by sharks. She will learn that if a man runs off the edge of a cliff, he will not fall until he notices his mistake. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chimako Beatabo, and I will be reciting Her Head by Joan Murray. Near Ikwukeni in Natal, South Africa, a woman carries water on her head. After a year of drought, when 1 child in 3 is at risk of death, she returns from a distant well, carrying water on her head. The pumpkins are gone, the tomatoes withered, yet the woman carries water on her head. The cattle kraals are empty, the goats gaunt, no milk now for children. But she is carrying water on her head. The engineers have reversed the river. Those with power can keep their power. But one woman is carrying water on her head. in the homelands where the dusty crowds watch the empty roads for water trucks, one woman trusts herself with treasure and carries water on her head. The sun does not dissuade her, not the dried earth that blows against her as she's carrying the water on her head in a huge and dirty pail with an idle handle resting on a narrow can. This woman is carrying water on her head. This woman who girds her neck with safety pins, this one who carries water on her head, trusts her own head to bring to her people what they need now between life and death. She is carrying them water on her head.
Hello, my name is Gareth Haynes, and I will be reciting The Death of Allegory by Billy Collins. I am wondering what became of all those tall abstractions that used to pose, robed and statuesque in paintings, and parade about on the pages of the Renaissance, displaying their capital letters like license plates. Truth, cantering on a powerful horse. Chastity, eyes downcast, fluttering with veils. Each one was marble come to life, a thought in a coat. Courtesy, bowing with one hand always extended. Villainy, sharpening an instrument behind a wall. Reason with her crown, and constancy alert behind a helm. They are all retired now, consigned to a Florida for tropes. Justice is there, standing by an open refrigerator. Valor lies in bed listening to the rain. Even death has nothing to do but mend his cloak and hood, and all their props are locked away in a warehouse. Hourglasses, globes, blindfolds, and shackles. Even if you called them back, there are no places left for them to go. No garden of mirth or bower of bliss. The valley of forgiveness is lined with condominiums, and chainsaws are howling in the forest of despair. Here on the table near the window is a vase of peonies, and next to it, black binoculars and a money clip. Exactly the kind of thing we now prefer. Objects that sit quietly on a line in lowercase, themselves and nothing more. As for the others, the great ideas on horseback and the long-haired virtues in embroidered gowns, it looks as though they have traveled down that long road you see on the final page of storybooks, the one that winds up a green hillside and disappears into an unseen valley where everyone must be fast asleep.
My name is Matthew DeMarco, and I will be reciting The Rain by Robert Creeley. All night, the sound had come back again. And again falls this quiet, persistent rain. What am I to myself that must be remembered, insisted upon so often? Is it that never the ease, even the hardness of rain falling will have for me something other than this? Something not so insistent? Am I to be locked in this final uneasiness? Love, if you love me, lie next to me. Be for me. Like rain, the getting out of the tiredness, the fatuousness, the semi-lust of intentional indifference. Be wet with a decent happiness. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lucy Wong, and I'm from Homedale High School. I will be reciting The Legend by Garrett Hongo. In Chicago, it is snowing softly, and a man has just done his wash for the week. He steps into the twilight of early evening, carrying a wrinkled shopping bag full of neatly folded clothes, and for a moment enjoys the feel of warm laundry and crinkled paper, flannel-like against his gloveless hands. There's a Rembrandt glow on his face, a triangle of orange in the hollow of his cheek, as the last flash of sunset blazes the storefronts and lit windows of the street. He is Asian, Thai, or Vietnamese, and very skinny, dressed as one of the poor in rumpled suit pants and a plaid mackinaw, dingy and too large. He negotiates the slick of ice on the sidewalk by his car, opens the Fairlane's back door, leans to place the laundry in, and turns for an instant toward the flurry of footsteps and cries of pedestrians as a boy, that's all he was, backs from the corner package store, shooting a pistol, firing it once at the dumbfounded man, who falls forward, grabbing at his chest. A few sounds escape from his mouth, a babbling no one understands, as people surround him, bewildered at his speech. The noises he makes are nothing to them. The boy has gone, lost in the light array of foot traffic, dappling the snow with fresh prints. Tonight, I read about Descartes' grand courage to doubt everything except his own miraculous existence. And I feel so distinct from the wounded man lying on the concrete. I am ashamed. Let the night sky cover him as he dies. Let the weaver girl cross the bridge of heaven and take up his cold hands.
Hello, my name is Natasha Vargas. I'm from Lawrence High School, and I will be reciting Ecology by Jack Collum. Surrounded by bone, surrounded by cells, by rings of hell, by hair, surrounded by air is a thing, surrounded by silhouette, by honey-wet bees, yet by skeletons of trees, surrounded by actual, yes, for practical purposes, people, surrounded by surreal popcorn, surrounded by the reborn. Surrender in the center to surroundings. Oh, surrender forever, never end her. Let her blend around. Surrender to the surroundings that surround the tender endo. Surrender that tumble through the tumbling to, that blue that curls around the crumbling to, that the blue that rumbles under the sun, bounding the pearl that we walk on, talk on. We can chalk that up to experience, sensing the brown here that's blue now, a drop of water surrounding a cow that's black and white, the warbling Blackburnian twitter that's machining midnight, orange in the light, that's glittering in the light green visible wind. That's the ticket to the tunnel through the thicket, that's a cricket's funnel of music to correct and pick it out from under, the wing that whirls up, over, and out.
Hello. My name is David Anderson, and I will be reciting Ode for the American Dead in Asia by Thomas McGrath. God love you now, if no one else will ever. Corpse in the paddy or dead on a high hill, in the fine and ruinous summer of a war you never wanted. All your false flags were of bravery and ignorance, like grade school maps, colors of countries you would never see until that weekend in eternity, when laughing, well-armed, perfectly ready to kill the world and your brother, the safe commanders sent you into your future. Oh, dead on a hill, dead in a paddy, leached and tumbled to a tomb of footnotes. We mourn a changeling, you, hanseled to poverty and drummed to war by distinguished masters whom you never knew. The bee that spins his metal from the sun, the shy mole drifting like a minor ghost through midnight earth. All happy creatures run as strict as trains on rails, the circuits of blind instinct. Happy in your summer follies, you mind a culture that was mined for war. The state to mold you, church to bless, and always the elders to confirm you in your ignorance. No scholar put your thinking cap on, nor warned that in dead seas fishes died in schools before inventing legs to walk the land. The rulers stuck a tennis racket in your hand, an ark against the flood. In time of change, courage is not enough. The blind mole dies, and you on your hill who did not know the rules. Wet, in the windy counties of the dawn, the lone crow skirls his draggled passage home. And God, whose sparrows fall aslant his gaze like grace or confetti, blinks and he is gone. And you are gone. Your scarecrow valor grows and rusts like early lilac, while the rose blooms in Dakota and the stock exchange flowers. Roses, rents, all things conspire to crown your death with wreaths of living fire. And the public mourners come. The politic tear is cast in the forum. But in another year, we will mourn you, whose fossil courage fills the limestone histories. Brave, ignorant, amazed, dead in the rice paddies, dead on the nameless hills.
Good morning. My name is Ankita Mohapatra, and I will be reciting More Lies by Karen Gottschall. Sometimes I say I'm going to meet my sister at the cafe, even though I have no sister, just because it's such a beautiful thing to say. I've always thought so, ever since I read a novel in which two sisters were constantly meeting in cafes. Today, for example, I walked alone on the wet sidewalk, wearing my rain boots, expecting someone might ask where I was headed. I bought a steno pad and a watch battery, the store windows fogged up. Rain in April is a kind of promise, and it costs nothing. I carried a bag of books to the cafe and ordered tea. I like a place that's lit by lamps. I like a place where you can hear people talk about small things like the difference between azure and cerulean, and the price of tulips is going down. I watched someone who could be my sister walk in, shaking the rain from her hair. I thought, even now, florists are filling their coolers with tulips, $5 a bundle. All over the city, there are sisters. Any one of them could be mine. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christelle Marie Chua, and I will be reciting Holy Sonnets, Death Be Not Proud by John Donne. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou think'st thou dost overthrow die not, poor Death, nor yet canst thou kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure. Then from thee much more must flow, and soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and soul's delivery. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and dost with poison, war, and sickness dwell, and popular charms can make us sleep as well and better than thy stroke. Why swell'st thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Noah Jarrett, and I will be reciting After Working 60 Hours Again for What Reason by Bob Hickok. The best job I had was moving a stone from one side of the road to the other. This required a payment, which required a bribe. The bribe took all my salary. Yet, because I hadn't finished the bribe, I had no salary. And to pay the bribe, I took a job moving the stone the other way. Because the official wanted his bribe, he gave me a permit for the second job. When I pointed out that the work would be best completed if I did nothing, he complimented my brain and wrote a letter to my employer suggesting promotion on stationery, bearing the wings of a raptor spread in flight over a mountain smaller than the bird. My boss, fearing my intelligence, paid me to sleep on the sofa and take lunch with the official, who required a bribe to keep anything from being done. When I told my parents, they wrote my brother to come home from university, to be slapped on the back of the head. Dutifully, he arrived and bowed to receive his instruction, at which point sense entered his body and he asked what I could do by way of a job. I pointed out there were stones everywhere, trying not to move. All it took was a little gumption to be the man who didn't move them. It was harder to explain the intricacies of not obtaining a permit to not do this. Just yesterday, he got up at dawn and shaved, as if the lack of hair on his face has anything to do with the appearance of food on an empty table. Thank you.
So everyone, we've just finished round one. I'm going to take a little time to tabulate the scores, and then we will begin round two. One thing I would like to do while we're waiting is I'd love to have a great big round of applause for the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. Something seemingly this simple is actually not, and the coordination and the work that's going on backstage and in the front of the house is magnificent. It's very befitting of an event like this, so we're very, very pleased, and thank you so much for having us here, and running it so well. So while we're waiting, I think we're going to go back to some music, and we'll send the next person out as soon as we're ready to go. Okay, thanks.
Hi, my name is Ashley Young-Varsky, and my second poem I will be reciting is The Cities Inside Us by Alberto Rios. We live in secret cities, and we travel unmapped roads. We speak words between us that we recognize, but which cannot be looked up. They are our words. They come from very far inside our mouths. You and I, we are the secret citizens of the city inside us. And inside us, there go all the cars we have driven and seen. There are all the people we know and have known. There are all the places that are, but which used to be as well. This is where they went. They did not disappear. We each take a piece through the eye and through the ear. It's loud inside us, in here. And when we speak in the outside world, we have to hope that some of that sound does not come out, that an arm does not reach out in place of the tongue. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chimako Obitabo, and I will be reciting The Healing Improvisation of Hair by J. Wright. If you undo your due, you would be strange. Hair has been on my mind. I used to lean in the doorway and watch my stony woman wind the copper through the black and play with my understanding. Show me she could take a cup of river water and watch it shimmy, watch it change, turn around and become ash bone. Wind in the cottonwoods wakes me to a day so thin its breastbone shows, so paid out it shakes me free of its blue dust. I will arrange that river water, bottom juice. I conjure my head in the stream and ride with the silk feel of it as my woman bathes me and shaves away the scorn, sponges the grit of solitude from my skin, laves the salt water of self-esteem over my feathering body. How like joy to come upon me in remembering a head of hair and the way water would caress it and stress beauty in the flare and cut of the only witness to my dance under sorrow's tree. This swift darkness is spring's first hour. I carried my life like a stone in a ragged pocket, but I had a true weaving song, a sly wit with rhythm, a healing tone.
Hello, my name is Gareth Haynes, and I will be reciting Falling, the Code by Lee Young Lee. 1. Through the night, the apples outside my window, one by one, let go their branches and drop to the lawn. I can't see, but hear the stems snap, the plummet through leaves, then the final thump against the ground, sometimes two at once or one right after another. During long moments of silence, I wait and wonder about the bruised bodies, the terror of diving through air, and think I'll go tomorrow to find the newly fallen. But they all look alike, lying there, dew-soaked, disappearing before me. 2. I lie beneath my window, listening to the sound of apples dropping in the yard, a syncopated code I long to know, which continues even as I sleep and dream I know the meaning of what I hear, each dull thud of unseen apple body. The earth, falling to earth, once and forever, over and over.
My name is Matthew DeMarco, and I will be reciting Eating Poetry by Mark Strand. Ink runs from the corners of my mouth. There is no happiness like mine. I have been eating poetry. The librarian does not believe what she sees. Her eyes are sad, and she walks with her hands in her dress. The poems are gone. The light is dim. The dogs are on the basement stairs and coming up. Their eyeballs roll. Their blonde legs burn like brush. The poor librarian begins to stamp her feet and weep. She does not understand. When I get on my knees and lick her hand, she screams, "I am a new man." I snarl at her and bark. I romp with joy in the bookish dark. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lucy Wong, and I'm from Homedale High School. I'll be reciting Larkinesque by Michael Ryan. reading in the paper a summary of a 5-year psychological study that shows those perceived as most beautiful are treated differently. I think they could have just asked me, remembering a kind of pudgy kid and late puberty, the bloody noses and wisecracks because I wore glasses. Though we all know by now how awful it is for the busty starlet no one takes seriously. The loveliest women I've lunched with, lamenting the opacity of the body. They can never trust a man's interest, even when he seems not just out for sex. Eyes focus on me above rim of wineglass. And who would want to live like this? And what does beauty do to a man? Don Juan, Casanova, Lord Byron, those fiery eyes and steel jawlines confront a furnace of self-loathing. All those breathless women rushing to him while hubby's at the office or ball game, primed to be consumed by his beauty while he stands next to it, watching. So maybe the looks we're dealt are best. It's only common sense that happiness depends on some bearable deprivation or defect. And who knows what conflicts great beauty could have caused? What cruelties one might have suffered from those now friends? What unmanageable possibilities smiling at every small turn? So if I get up to draw a tumbler of ordinary tap water and think, what if this were nectar, dripping from delicious, burning fingers? Will all I've missed knock me senseless? No, of course not. It won't.
Hello, my name is Natasha Vargas. I'm from Lawrence High School, and I will be reciting Thoughtless Cruelty by Charles Lamb. There, Robert, you have killed that fly. And should you 1,000 ages try the life you've taken to supply, you could not do it. You surely must have been devoid of thought and sense to have destroyed a thing which no way you annoyed. You'll one day rue it. 'Twas but a fly, perhaps you'll say, that's born in April, dies in May, that does but just learn to display his wings 1 minute, and in the next is vanished quite. A bird devours it in his flight, or come a cold blast in the night, there's no breath in it. The bird but seeks his proper food, and providence, whose power endued that fly with life when it thinks good, may justly take it. But you have no excuses for it. A life by nature made so short, less reason is that you for sport should shorter make it a fly. A little thing you rate, but Robert, do not estimate a creature's pain by small or great. The greatest being can have but fibers, nerves, and flesh, and these the smallest ones possess, although their frame and structure less escape our seeing. Thank you.
Hello again. I'm David Anderson. I'm from Livingston High School. I'll be reciting The Tables Turned by William Wordsworth. Up! Up, my friend, and quit your books, or surely you'll grow double. Up! Up, my friend, and clear your looks. Why all this toil and trouble? The sun above the mountain's head, a freshening luster mellow, through all the long green fields has spread his first sweet evening yellow. Books, 'tis a dull and endless strife. Come, hear the woodland linnet. How sweet his music on my life, there's more of wisdom in it. And hark! How blithe the trussel sings. He too is no mean preacher. Come forth into the light of things. Let nature be your teacher. She has a world of ready wealth, our minds and hearts to bless, spontaneous wisdom breathed by health, truth breathed by cheerfulness. One impulse from a vernal wood may teach you more of man, of moral evil and of good than all the sages can. Sweet is the lore which nature brings. Our meddling intellect misshapes the beauteous forms of things. We murder to dissect. Enough of science and of art. Close up those barren leaves. Come forth and bring with you a heart that watches and receives.
Hello, my name is Ankita Mohapatra, and I will be reciting The Caller by George Herbert. I struck the board and cried, "No more! I will abroad." What? Shall I ever sigh and pine? My lines in life are free, free as the road, loose as the wind, as large as store. Shall I be still in suit? Have I no harvest but a thorn, to let me blood and not restore what I have lost with cordial fruit? Sure, there was wine, before my sighs did dry it. There was corn, before my tears did drown it. Is the year only lost to me? Have I no bays to crown it, no flowers, no garlands gay, all blasted, all wasted? Not so, my heart, but there is fruit, and thou hast hands. Recover all thy sigh-blown age on double pleasures. Leave thy cold dispute of what is fit and not. Forsake thy cage, thy rope of sands, which petty thoughts have made, and made to thee a good cable to enforce and draw. And be thy law, while thou didst wink and wouldst not see. Away, take heed, I will abroad. Call in thy death's head there, tie up thy fears. He that forbears to suit and serve his need deserves his load. But as I raved and grew more fierce and wild at every word, methought I heard one calling, "Child." And I replied, "My lord." Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christelle Marie Chua, and I will be reciting Ikebana by Kathy Song. To prepare the body, aim for the translucent perfection you find in the sliced shavings of a pickled turnip. In order for this to happen, you must avoid the sun, protect the face under a paper parasol until it is bruised white like the skin of lilies. Use white soap from a blue porcelain dish for this. Restrict yourself. Eat the whites of things. Tender bamboo shoots, the veins of the young iris, the clouded eye of a fish. Then, wrap the body as if it were a perfumed gift in pieces of silk held together with invisible threads, like a kite, weighing no more than a handful of crushed chrysanthemums, light enough to float in the wind. You want the effect of koi moving through water. When the light leaves the room, Twist lilacs into the lacquered hair, piled high like a complicated shrine. There should be tiny bells inserted somewhere in the web of hair to imitate crickets singing in a hidden grove. Reveal the nape of the neck, your beauty spot. Hold the arrangement. If your spine slacks and you feel faint, remember the hand-picked flower set in the front alcove, which, just this morning, you so skillfully wired into place. How poised it is, petal and leaf curving like a fan, the stem snipped and wedged into the metal base to appear like a spontaneous accident. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Noah Jarrett, and I will be performing The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, we've now finished round 2, and we'll be doing some tabulations before round 3. I would like to, at this point, we could not do any of this without the support of the New Jersey State Council on the Arts, who has generously been backing this program and partnering in this program for over 9 years now. I would like to bring out someone very important to the state of New Jersey, someone who has been a tireless and a longtime supporter of the arts, culture, and history, our Assistant Secretary of State, Carol Kronheim.
Hello, everyone. Haven't they all been just great? It's impressive. It's extremely impressive. I know all of us sitting out there thinking, how are they doing this? It's really amazing. I want to say good morning and thank you for inviting me today. On behalf of the governor and the lieutenant governor, I'd like to offer warm congratulations to the finalists and their teachers for making it this far. You can all be extremely proud. Last year, I opened with a few lines from Homer's Odyssey. This year, I'd like to zoom ahead to a much more modern work, Virgil's Aeneid, from 19 BC. These two poems have a lot in common. Some would say charitably that's because the Aeneid is an homage to the Odyssey, while others might say less charitably that it's more of a copycat epic, sort of a ripoff, with the now conquering Romans taking the opposing role of the descendants of Troy. For our purposes today, it's enough to note that these road warrior stories open in very similar ways. The Odyssey in Greek with sing to me of the man, muse, versus the Latin, and I'm sure if any of you are taking Latin in high school, armo warumque cano, arms and the man I sing. Both are specifically referencing the role of the poet right in the beginning of the work, heralding the fact that what you are about to hear is important, truly an epic poem. Why? Because Augustus Caesar realized that great civilizations need great poems. They need those poems to tell their story, to create their larger-than-life myths, both for their present military and social purposes, and for their long-term place in history. This is not just an ancient practice. It goes across boundaries and ages. We're actually engaged in this practice now in the state of New Jersey as we celebrate New Jersey's 350th anniversary. We were founded and named New Jersey, got our name in 1664, and we have been pulling out all the stops to celebrate this. And if you don't know much about the celebration, please go to officialnj350.com and see all the things we're doing there. Today you are following in a long and proud tradition, one that I'm happy to see is being revived. Certainly in my parents' day, it was part of the curriculum. Then it fell out of fashion. I was blessed with teachers who made us memorize poetry when it was no longer being done, not just for the academic benefit, but because they felt deeply that knowing those fertile phrases, those hallowed words, would be a boon and a balm to us for our entire lives. Today's competition, as it's been mentioned, the 9th annual, is the culminating event for a contest that began months ago. I applaud the great amount of work that has already been put in by students, teachers, and of course staff from all across the state, and of course our wonderful staff at the Arts Council and at the NEA. But win today or not, the real benefit that you will gain will last a lifetime. Whether you're Odysseus finding your way home or Aeneas finding new shores, it's the journey that matters. So tomorrow is the Ides of March. Beware them if you must, but don't be wary of them. Embrace them as they remind us of the purpose and power that great poetry had and still has on great civilizations and has already had on you. Thank you very much.
We're taking a few more seconds here, folks, so enjoy the wonderful music.
My name is Ashley Young-Varsky, and for my final poem, I will be reciting Solitude by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Laugh, and the world laughs with you. Weep, and you weep alone. For the sad old earth must borrow its mirth, but has trouble enough of its own. Sing, and the hills will answer. Sigh, it is lost on the air. The echoes bound to a joyful sound, but shrink from voicing care. Rejoice, and men will seek you. Grieve, and they turn and go. They want full measure of all your pleasure, but they do not need your woe. Be glad, and your friends are many. Be sad, and you lose them all. There are none to decline your nectared wine, but alone you must drink life's gall. Feast, and your halls are crowded. Fast, and the world goes by. Succeed and give, and it helps you live. But no man can help you die. There's room in the halls of pleasure for a large and lordly train. But one by one, we must all file on through the narrow aisles of pain. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chimako Obidabo, and I will be reciting The Idler by Alice Moore Dunbar Nelson. An idle lingerer on the wayside's road, he gathers up his work and yawns away a little longer ere the tiresome load shall be reduced to ashes or to clay. No matter if the world has marched along and scorned his slowness as it quickly passed, no matter if amid the busy throng he greets some face, infantile at the last. His mission? Well, there is but one, and if it is a mission, he knows it. Nay, to be a happy idler, to lounge and sun and dreaming, pass his long-drawn days away. So dreams he on his happy life to pass, content without ambition's painful sighs, until the sands run down into the glass. He smiles, content, unmoved, and dies. And yet, with all the pity that you feel for this poor mothling of that flame, the world, are you the better for your desperate deal when you, like him, into infinitude are hurled?
Hello, my name is Gareth Haynes, and I will be reciting Love 3 by George Herbert. Love bade me welcome, yet my soul drew back, guilty of dust and sin. But quick-eyed love, observing me grow slack from my first entrance in, drew nearer to me, sweetly questioning if I lacked anything. A guest, I answered, worthy to be here. Love said, you shall be he. I, the unkind, ungrateful? Ah, my dear, I cannot look on thee. Love took my hand, and smiling did reply, who made the eyes but I? Truth, Lord, but I have marred them. Let my shame go where it doth deserve. And know you not, says Love, who bore the blame? My dear, then I will serve. You must sit down, says Love, and taste my meat. So I did sit and eat.
My name is Matthew DeMarco, and I will be reciting Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold. The sea is calm tonight. The tide is full. The moon lies fair upon the straits. On the French coast, the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand glimmering and vast out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window. Sweet is the night air. Only from the long line of spray where the sea meets the moon-blanched land, listen. You hear the grating roar of pebbles, which the waves draw back and fling at the return up the high strand, begin and cease, and then again begin with tremulous cadence, slow, and bring the eternal note of sadness in. Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The sea of faith was once too at the full and round earth's shore, lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled. But now I only hear its melancholy, long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind, down the vast edges, drear and naked shingles of the world. Ah, love, let us be true to one another. For the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lucy Wong, and I'm from Homedale High School. I'll be reciting Course Sacerdotum by Folk Greville from Mustafa. O wearisome condition of humanity, born under one law, to another bound, vainly begot, and yet forbidden vanity, created sick, commanded to be sound. What meaneth nature by these diverse laws? Passion and reason, self-division cause. Is it the mark or majesty of power to make offenses that it may forgive? Nature herself doth her own self deflower, to hate those errors she herself doth give. For how should man think that he may not do, if nature did not fail and punish too? Tyrant to others, to herself unjust, only commands things difficult and hard, forbids us all things which it knows is lust, makes easy pains, impossible reward. If nature did not take delight in blood, she would have made more easy ways to good. We that are bound by vows and by promotion, with pomp of holy sacrifice and rites, to teach belief in good and still devotion, to preach of heaven's wonders and delights. Yet, when each of us in his own heart looks, he finds the God there, far unlike his books.
Hello, my name is Natasha Vargas. I'm from Lawrence High School, and I will be reciting A Locked House by W.D. Snodgrass. As we drove back crossing the hill, the house still hidden in the trees, I always thought, a fool's fear, that it might have caught fire. Someone could have broken in. As if things must have been too good here. Still, we always found it locked tight, safe and sound. I mentioned that once, as a joke. No doubt we spoke of the absurdity to fear some dour god's jealousy of our good fortune. From the farm next door, our neighbors saw no harm came to the things we cared for here. What did we have to fear? Maybe I should have thought. All such things rot, fall. Barns, houses, furniture. We two are stronger than we were apart. We've grown together. Everything we own can burn. We know what counts. Some such idea. We said as much. We had watched friends driven to betray. Felt that love drained away some self they need. We had said love, like a growth, can feed on hate we turn in and disguise. We warned ourselves that you might despise me, hate all we both loved best. None of us ever guessed. The house still stands, locked, as it stood untouched a good 2 years after you went. Some things passed in the settlement. Some things slipped away. Enough's left that I come back sometimes. The theft and vandalism were our own. Maybe we should have known. Thank you.
Hello. I'm David Anderson, and I'll be reciting One Art by Elizabeth Bishop. The art of losing isn't hard to master. So many things seem filled with the intent to be lost, that their loss is no disaster. Lose something every day, except the fluster of lost door keys, the hour badly spent. The art of losing isn't hard to master. Then practice losing farther, losing faster, places and names and where it was you meant to travel. None of these will bring disaster. I lost my mother's watch. And look, my last or next to last of 3 loved houses went. The art of losing isn't hard to master. I lost 2 cities, lovely ones, and vaster some realms I owned, 2 rivers, a continent. I miss them, but it wasn't a disaster. Even losing you, the joking voice, a gesture I love, I shan't have lied. It's evident the art of losing's not too hard to master, though it may look like, write it, like disaster.
Hello again. My name is Ankita Mohapatra, and I will be reciting Sestina, Like, by A.E. Stallings, with a nod to Jonah Winter. Now we're all friends. There is no love but like, a semi-demi-goddess, something like a reality TV star, look-alike, named Simile or Me Too. So we like in order to be liked. It isn't like there's love or hate now. Even plain dislike is frowned on. There's no button for it. Like is something you can quantify. Each like you gathers almost something money-like, token of virtual support. Please like this page to stamp out hunger. And you'd like to end hunger and climate change alike, but it's unlikely like does diddly. Like just twiddles its unopposing thumbs up. Likewise, props up scarecrow silences. I'm like so over him, I overhear. But like he doesn't get it. Like, he's like, it's all okay. Like, I don't even like him anymore. Whatever. I'm all like, take like out of our chat. We'd all alike flounder, agape, gesticulating like a foreign film, sans subtitles. Fall like dumb phones to mooted desuetude. Unlike with other crutches. When we use like, we're not just buying time on credit. Like displaces other words, crowds cuckoo like endangered hatchlings from the nest. Click like if you're against extinction. Like is like invasive zebra mussels. Or it's like those nutria things. Or kudzu. Or be like redundant fast food franchises. Each like more like the next. Those poets who dislike inversions, archaisms, who just like plain English as she spoke. Why isn't like there, literally, every other word? I'd like us just to admit that's what real speech is like. But as you like, my friend, yes, we're alike. How we pronounce, say, lichen, and dislike cancer and war. So, like this page, click like. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christelle Marie Chua, and I will be reciting Ways of Talking by Ha Jun. We used to like talking about grief. Our journals and letters were packed with losses, complaints, and sorrows. Even if there was no grief, we wouldn't stop lamenting, as though longing for the charm of a distressed face. Then, we couldn't help expressing grief. So many things descended without warning. Labor wasted, loves lost, houses gone, marriages broken, friends estranged, ambitions worn away by immediate needs. Words lined up in our throats for a good whining. Grief seemed like an endless river, the only immortal flow of life. After losing a land and then giving up a tongue, we stopped talking of grief. Smiles began to brighten our faces. We laugh a lot at our own mess. Things become beautiful. Even hailstones in the strawberry fields. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Noah Jarrett, and my final poem for you today is Sestina Like by A.E. Stallings, with a nod to Jonah Winter. Now we're all friends. There is no love, but like. A semi-demi-goddess, something like a reality TV star look-alike named Simile, or Me Too. So we like in order to be liked. It isn't like there's love or hate now. Even plain dislike is frowned on. There's no button for it. Like is something you can quantify. Each like you gather is almost something money-like, token of virtual support. Please like this page to stamp out hunger. And you'd like to end hunger and climate change alike, but it's unlikely like does diddly. Like just twiddles its unopposing thumbs-ups, likewise props up scarecrow silences. I'm like, so, over him? I overhear. But, like, he doesn't get it. Like, you know? He's like, it's all okay. Like, I don't even like him anymore. Whatever. I'm all like, take like out of our chat, and we'd all alike flounder, agape, gesticulating like a foreign film sans subtitles, fall like dumb phones to muted destitute. Unlike with other crutches, when we use like, we're not just buying time on credit. Like displaces other words, crowds, cuckoo-like, endangered hatchlings from the nest. Click like if you're against extinction. Like is like invasive zebra mussels, or it's like those nutria things, or kudzu, or belike redundant fast food franchises, each like more like the next, those poets who dislike inversions, archaisms, who just like plain English as she spoke. Why isn't like there literally every other word? I'd like us just to admit that's what real speech is like. But as you like, my friend, yes, we're alike. How we pronounce, say, lichen, and dislike cancer and war. So, like this page. Click like. Thank you.
We are live. Okay, here are our 10 very, very courageous souls up here. Let's give a hand for all of them one more time.
Yes, 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 yes. They deserve it.
And we all remember Lamont. So while we're waiting for the final scores to be tabulated, we thought we'd have a little talk back with our finalists, and I think Lamont's got a question or two that he wants to ask. We're going to pass the mic around and see what people have to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, John and I were out in the wings. John said that he started writing poetry in the 8th grade, I believe.
No, when I was 8.
Yeah. And I started writing poetry in the 5th grade. And we were wondering, when we were in high school, were we this good?
Could we do
both
this?
Said,
no.
We both said, no way.
No way.
So when they first arrived, we had an opportunity, well, I had the opportunity to have a conversation, and we were talking about where they were from the first time they found out of Poetry Out Loud until today. So, would anyone care to discuss that part of your journey? From the first time you heard about Poetry Out Loud until today. An interesting tidbit.
Okay. Well, we made a school-wide announcement about Poetry Out Loud in our school, and not a lot of people showed up, so I ended up being the winner of the school-wide competition. And really, I've been doing forensics for 3 years, and I'd say the most amazing thing about poetry, well, what inspired me to do Poetry Out Loud is my teacher, Dr. Mato, shout out to you. Like, we'd be in class with her, and we'd be discussing this poem, and then she, without looking at anything, she'd start reciting the poem with such understanding and such passion that it just amazed me. So that's the reason why I'm here right now, and that's my inspiration for Poetry Out Loud.
I guess I'll talk next. Poetry Out Loud, I heard about it my freshman year. I'd heard it in passing, but I didn't really know what it was. And then my sophomore year, my teacher, Mrs. Brannigan, who's actually here, she had all of us do the school competition, and I didn't think much of it, but I got fourth, and I didn't do it junior year. And then senior year this year, we were told again to do it by my other teacher, Miss O'Hearn, who's here. And going into that, I knew that I wanted to get to the school competition. I wanted to beat my friend, my best friend. But I didn't have any intention of winning and going on. And when I did, it was kind of a shock. And then when I went to regionals, it was another shock. And now I'm here, and I plan on one day being an English teacher, so I love poetry, and yeah.
All right. Well, I took poetry my senior year, so that's the first time I heard about Poetry Out Loud. And at first, my teacher was like, okay, everybody, this is mandatory, Poetry Out Loud. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, I have to memorize something. But junior year, I started reciting a lot of Shakespeare and a whole bunch of poetry, so I didn't really I wasn't like one of them. They're saying like, oh my gosh, but like I wanted to do it. It was fun for me to memorize stuff. So I was going against a lot of really good people for the school competition. And as Ashley said, it was a shock to me when I won the school competition. And then when I went to regionals, it was even more fun meeting amazing people, going on, and then I won that, and it was another shock. So to me, Poetry Out Loud, I just love it because you have to find a poem, and in that poem, you have to find an interpretation that the author was trying to give out. And then once you see what the author was talking about and get that connection that the author was talking about, it's your job now to portray that art to your audience. So to me, I have to take that art, what I see, and let the audience see what I see. So that's what Poetry Out Loud is to me.
For me, we had some classroom competitions in English, public speaking, drama. So a lot of the teachers were talking about it, and for a lot of people it was just an assignment, but I've always loved poetry. I did Lit Mag through middle school, and I think it just turned into something a lot bigger for me from there. And I met a lot of interesting people all along the way. I learned so much. I learned more about what I could do personally, and instead of just always putting myself like, okay, I can write poetry, I like it, it was another dimension for me. It was a new thing. And for me, poetry is a lot like, after I understand what they meant, placing myself as a sort of, not a mirror, but more of a window, a portal for other people to see what I see, to see the poetry through my experience and how I understood it. So it's just this really special, amazing way of expressing both myself and what I see in others. And for me, my teacher and my parents and my family have been there a lot for me, and they kind of inspired me to take it this far and believe that I can do something like this. So thank you, Ms. Heitnen and Gilha Mama.
All right, well, I first heard of Poetry Out Loud in January. I thought, like, okay, we were told about this after we took midterms. This is something that's like done in speech class in my school, which is basically just with 40 students. And I thought this was an assignment. And so I attempted to memorize 3 poems the night before, and I thought I was going to fail. But instead, I was chosen to go to regionals. And so that was a little weird for me. And then to be chosen to go to states. And just poetry is just this whole new, different realm for me. I've never really experimented with it much, but it's just been like an amazing experience. Yeah, public speaking for me overall is just this new thing to me. And I'm just really happy to be on this journey. It's just been amazing. I know that whoever goes on to DC is going to do very well, because this is surely a very talented group of people, and I'm very proud to be here. So thank you.
We're ready to go. So we're about ready to go, but before we do, I just wanted to say one thing. One of the things that always impresses me about this program is the camaraderie that goes on backstage. Everybody is laughing, joking, dancing, doing weird mime.
Things you don't see behind the curtain.
Things you don't see behind the curtain. But we may call this a competition, but it's really not. It's a big collaboration, and that is one of my favorite aspects of Poetry Out Loud. So I think we've got a bunch of stuff rolling out here, so I'm going to get out of the way. So there we are, the magic of modern theater. All right.
What an amazing morning. Thank you to our outstanding students, judges, and performers. And thank you, John, our wonderful MC. I'm joined on stage now by our colleague from the National Endowment on the Arts, Mary Rose Flanagan, and we now... Mary Rose and I now get to do the fun part. The 10 of you should be very proud of your performances. In recognition of your having made it to the state finals and for your excellent work today, we'd like to present each of you with a little something. We'll start with Ashley Ungvarsky from Cinnaminson High School. Chiamaka Obidebo from Columbia High School. Gareth Haynes from Duane Academy. Matthew DeMarco from Dumont High School. Lucy Wong from Holmdel High School. Natasha Vargas from Lawrence High School. David Anderson from Livingston High School. Ankita Mohapatra from Morris County School of Technology. Christelle Marie Chua from Mother Seton Regional High School. Noah Jarrett from Northern Valley Region. That is Northern Valley Regional at Old Tappan. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, today's winners. Thanks to the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation, the state runner-up will receive $100 with $200 for his or her school library for the purchase of poetry books. Outstate champion will receive $200 and an all-expenses-paid trip to Washington, D.C. to represent New Jersey in the national finals against 50 other contestants. The state's champion will receive a $500 stipend for the purchase of poetry book. The state champion school, I should say, will receive $500 stipend for the purchase of poetry books. And also, for the second year in a row, Cavan Kerry Press has generously donated books of poetry to all participating New Jersey schools, and a special award for the teacher of the state champion. Tuition and lodging for the Frost Place Conference for Teachers this June in New Hampshire. It is my pleasure to announce to you our 2014 New Jersey Poetry Out Loud State Runner-Up. And the winner is... Okay. Just a second. Our runner-up is Lucy Wong from Holmdel High School. And now it truly is my honor to announce our 2014 New Jersey Poetry Out Loud State Champion. This student will go on to represent New Jersey on the national stage and vie for the national championship, which means a possible $20,000 college scholarship. And the winner is? And the 2014 winner is Natasha Vargas. From Lawrence High School.
That's it for the day, folks. I just need to do one thing. Natasha's parents and teacher, if you're here, I need to have you come up to the stage for photographs. I think you can use that door down there. All right. Thank you, everyone. You've been a wonderful audience. This kind of fervor one only sees at a football game. I'm very happy to see it. Thank you. Have a good one.